The human starship Odyssey glided silently through the stars, its silver hull reflecting distant starlight. Inside the command bridge, Captain Elias Hart leaned back slightly in his chair, observing the planet below. Zephyra was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with colors that seemed to shift as if alive. Forests of crystal trees spread across vast plains, and rivers glowed faintly with a soft blue light. Elias's eyes narrowed not with suspicion but with curiosity. Humans had traveled many light years to reach this distant planet, sent on a mission of exploration and diplomacy. He was well aware of the risks. Alien worlds were rarely hospitable, and intelligent life often saw humans as primitive. Yet something about Zephyra felt different. There was a strange energy in the air, and a sense of wisdom in the planet itself. "Captain, we are approaching orbit," reported Lieutenant Meera Singh, her voice calm but firm. She was one of Elias's most trusted officers, a tactical genius and skilled pilot. Sensors indicate multiple cities below, advanced infrastructure, and some kind of energy field surrounding the main settlement. Elias nodded. "Good, keep scanners active. I want a full reading before we make contact. And make sure the crew is ready for any situation. Remember, diplomacy comes first." The humans had been briefed about Zephyra's rulers, a young Princess Liara, only 23 years old, who had already earned a reputation as intelligent, strategic, and wise beyond her years. Yet she was known to be cautious with outsiders. Many ambassadors had tried to reach her court, only to be politely turned away or worse, quietly dismissed. Elias had no intention of failing. Humanity's survival often depended on forming alliances, and Zephyra's technology could be revolutionary for Earth. But more than politics, Elias was curious about the princess herself. Reports described her as striking, with deep violet eyes that seemed to look straight through people, and a mind capable of understanding complex interstellar phenomena as easily as a human solved a puzzle. The Odyssey descended slowly, its engines humming softly. Zephyra's main city appeared below, suspended above the ground by invisible energy fields. Towering spires of metal and crystal reflected sunlight, sending rainbow-colored patterns across the sky. Alien citizens walked along platforms and bridges, their forms slender and elegant with luminescent markings running along their arms and faces. Elias straightened. "Prepare the landing protocol. I'll be leading the first contact team." Lieutenant Singh raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure, Captain?" "You know the risks," Elias smirked. "I didn't come all this way to stay on the ship." Soon a group of humans, fully suited in lightweight exosuits, stood ready in the landing bay. Among them were engineers, scientists, and security personnel. Elias checked his communicator. "Remember, calm and respectful. Observe their customs. Don't make sudden movements, and above all, show that humans are capable of cooperation." The landing shuttle pierced through Zephyra's atmosphere, gliding toward a grand platform at the center of the city. Aliens watched silently from above and below. As the humans stepped out, a strange hush fell over the area. The aliens were taller than humans, their movements precise, almost graceful. But Elias noticed something human in their eyes, curiosity. Then she appeared. Princess Liara, in all her elegance, descended from a hovering platform. Her violet eyes scanned the humans, assessing every movement, every expression. She wore a flowing gown of shimmering silver that reflected the city's light, and her long hair floated slightly in the energy field's gentle currents. Elias stepped forward confidently. "Greetings, Princess Liara. I am Captain Elias Hart of the human expedition. We come in peace, seeking friendship and cooperation between our worlds." Liara's gaze was steady, unreadable. She spoke softly but clearly, her voice carrying authority. "Humans are bold to approach Zephyra. Many would see your presence as an intrusion." Elias smiled gently. "Perhaps. But boldness is often the first step toward understanding." There was a moment of silence. The alien court watched, waiting. And then, on impulse or perhaps instinct, Elias said something no one expected. "Sweetie," he said, his tone warm and casual. "We hope we can be friends." The words hung in the air. There was a ripple of shock among both humans and aliens. An advisor whispered sharply, "Captain, that is—" But before anyone could finish, Liara's face changed. Her stern expression softened. A faint pink hue touched her cheeks, and a small, genuine smile appeared on her lips. "Yes, darling," she replied, her voice carrying a light warmth that surprised everyone. The moment was fleeting, but it shifted something in the atmosphere. The humans relaxed, sensing that the princess was not as cold as her reputation suggested. The aliens, though puzzled, seemed intrigued by the unexpected human audacity. Lieutenant Singh shook her head slightly, whispering, "Captain, that was..." "Bold," Elias simply nodded. "Sometimes first impressions don't follow protocol, and sometimes they work better that way." Princess Liara gestured for the humans to follow her. "Come, you will meet my council and see our city. But remember, actions speak louder than words. Do not test our patience." As they walked, Elias noticed the way Liara moved, graceful, precise, and deliberate. Yet when she glanced at him, there was a hint of curiosity, almost amusement. He realized that she was studying him as much as he was studying her. They entered a grand hall filled with energy light chandeliers and translucent floors. Aliens of various shapes and markings stood along the walls, observing silently. Liara introduced Elias and his team to the council. "These humans come with knowledge and courage," she said, her eyes briefly meeting Elias's. "They wish to learn and cooperate, but the council will judge their intentions. Speak, Captain." Elias stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Honored council, we come with respect. Our species is young compared to yours, but humans are adaptable, curious, and determined. We seek friendship and understanding. We wish to share knowledge and learn from yours. Most importantly, we hope to show that humans, though different, can be trusted allies." One of the council members, tall and elegant with green markings along her arms, tilted her head. Bold words for a species seen as primitive. Elias held her gaze. "Boldness is part of being human. We risk much because we see value in friendship. We risk even more when we ignore opportunity. I am not here to conquer. I am here to cooperate." Liara's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "Well said. Humans may be bold, but boldness is not always foolishness. We shall see how you prove yourselves." As the council discussed, Elias and Liara found themselves walking together along a balcony overlooking the city. Light reflected off the crystal towers, creating a mesmerizing display. "Humans are strange," Liara said softly, her voice carrying more curiosity than reproach. Elias grinned. "I'll take that as a compliment." Liara glanced at him, her violet eyes sharp yet thoughtful. "And you call me sweetie? Why?" Elias shrugged lightly. "Because it seemed honest. Names, titles, protocols, they all create distance. I wanted to reach you as a person, not just a leader. Sometimes the simplest words carry more meaning than the grandest ones." For a moment, Liara said nothing. Then her faint smile returned. "Yes, darling," she murmured again, more to herself than anyone else. Elias caught the subtle change. It was small, but it meant something. Trust, perhaps, or curiosity. Either way, it was a beginning. As night fell over Zephyra, the humans were led to their quarters. Elias looked out at the city from the window of his room. The lights shimmered like a living constellation, and he felt a strange sense of possibility. This world was full of unknowns, challenges, and dangers, but also opportunity. And somewhere in the palace above, Princess Liara sat quietly, thinking of the human captain who had dared to call her sweetie. Something about him was different. Perhaps humans were more than their reputation. Perhaps Elias' heart was more than a mere explorer. Either way, the first step had been taken, and neither of them could deny the spark of connection that had formed between them. The galaxy was vast, and Zephyra was only one small world. But the story of humans and aliens, of trust and courage, had already begun. The morning sun rose over Zephyra, casting shimmering streaks of light across the crystal towers and glowing rivers. The city seemed alive, its energy vibrating faintly in the air. Captain Elias Hart stood on the balcony of the human quarters, watching the alien citizens below as they went about their daily lives. Each movement was precise, elegant, and coordinated, a society built on discipline and intelligence. Elias adjusted the strap of his exosuit and turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mira Singh. "Today we meet the council again. I need to observe their methods, their communication styles, and I want to understand this energy field that surrounds the city. There's more to it than meets the eye." Singh nodded, scanning her portable device. "Sensors show unusual energy fluctuations near the northern sector. It seems reactive, almost intelligent." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Intelligent energy fields, great, just what I was hoping for." He smirked, though inside he felt the familiar thrill of a challenge. Humans had always thrived when faced with impossible odds. This was no different. They were led to a grand chamber in the palace where the council awaited. The room was circular, with a raised platform in the center. Each council member stood silently, observing the humans as they entered. Princess Liara moved to the front, her violet eyes scanning Elias and his team. "Captain Hart," she began, "we appreciate your presence. But Zephyra faces internal challenges and your species must demonstrate its value. We will assign a test, one of intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Succeed and trust may follow, fail, and your presence may be considered a threat." Elias inclined his head respectfully. "Understood, Princess. We will do our best. We are here to learn, not to conquer." Liara's expression softened slightly, and Elias noticed the faintest hint of a smile. "Good, then follow me." The council led them to a massive chamber filled with glowing panels, hovering orbs, and strange devices that seemed to hum with life. In the center was a small platform, projecting a holographic map of the city and its surrounding areas. "This," Liara explained, "is the Energy Core Network. It powers our city, maintains the protective fields, and ensures the balance of life on Zephyra. Recently, we have noticed disruptions, fluctuations that threaten our stability. Humans, we wish to see if your species can identify the problem and suggest solutions." Elias stepped forward, studying the holographic display. "From what I can see, the energy flow is uneven. Certain nodes are overloading while others are dormant. It's like a river that suddenly stops in some places and floods in others." One of the council members, tall with silver markings along her arms, frowned. "Many have studied this network, yet none have managed to stabilize it." Elias nodded. "Sometimes it's not about brute force. Sometimes it's about observing patterns and finding balance. Give me access to the sensors and my team and I will try." Liara hesitated briefly, then gestured. "Very well. You may attempt the stabilization, but beware, errors can cause cascading failures. Your species will be responsible for any damage." The humans worked quickly, combining their technology with the alien interfaces. Elias noticed how responsive the network was. It almost seemed to anticipate their movements, adjusting nodes in reaction to their commands. It was unlike anything humans had seen before. Hours passed, and the tension in the room grew. The council members whispered among themselves, some skeptical, others curious. Liara remained calm, observing every step Elias took, noting how he communicated with his team and the alien systems. Finally, Elias paused, analyzing the pattern. "The disruptions aren't random," he said. "They respond to changes in energy demand. If we can create a feedback system that balances the load between nodes, the fluctuations will stabilize." He and his team implemented a series of adjustments. Slowly, the holographic map began to glow steadily, the erratic pulses fading. The network hummed smoothly, its energy flowing evenly across the city. A murmur ran through the council. Liara's violet eyes widened slightly, then she stepped forward. "Remarkable," she said softly. "Humans, you are clever." Elias smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. "We learn quickly when we're challenged. And sometimes, we see patterns others miss because we're not constrained by tradition." Liara's lips curved into a subtle smile. "Yes, darling," she said quietly, almost under her breath. Elias heard it clearly, and his heart skipped a beat. He had not expected the princess to repeat the words that had first broken the ice between them. The rest of the day was spent touring the city and observing Zephyra's daily life. Elias was struck by how advanced and organized the society was, yet it lacked something he had not been able to define, until he saw Liara interact with her people. She was both leader and observer, guiding without dominating, inspiring loyalty without fear. Humans often led with boldness, but Zephyra led with balance. Elias respected that deeply. As they walked through the city's central gardens, filled with floating flora and softly glowing paths, Liara spoke. "Your species is unusual, Captain. Humans take risks that others would avoid. You speak casually even in formal situations. You call me, sweetie. You are unafraid." Elias chuckled lightly. "Humans are complicated. Sometimes we rely on rules. Sometimes we ignore them. The trick is knowing which moments to take seriously and which to approach with honesty, even humor." Liara studied him for a long moment, her violet eyes searching. Then she smiled, a small, genuine expression that seemed almost private. Perhaps. That is why I feel a strange comfort when you say it. Elias nodded. Then we understand each other in some small way. Not everyone would call it comfort, but humans notice details others overlook. As evening approached, the humans were escorted back to their quarters. Elias paused on the balcony, looking out at the city once more. The glowing rivers reflected the setting sun, casting colors he had never imagined. For a moment he felt the weight of responsibility, both for his crew and for the fragile trust forming between humans and aliens. Lieutenant Singh joined him, her expression thoughtful. Captain, the council is impressed, but this bond between you and Liara, it could either help or complicate things. Elias smiled faintly. I know, but sometimes trust begins in unexpected ways. I didn't plan to call her sweetie, and yet it opened a door. Maybe humans and aliens need that kind of connection to understand each other. The next morning their work continued. The humans assisted in minor city tasks, helping stabilize secondary energy nodes, organizing information, and learning the alien ways. Meanwhile, Elias and Liara spent short periods together, observing the network, walking through gardens, or discussing the delicate balance of leadership and diplomacy. During one such moment, a sudden alert rang through the city's systems. Sensors detected unusual energy spikes near the northern border. Liara's expression hardened. Captain, this may be the first real test of your cooperation. These fluctuations could indicate external interference. Elias didn't hesitate. Then we investigate immediately. Humans are adaptable, and I believe together we can handle this. They assembled a team, combining human engineers with Zephyra's experts. As they approached the northern sector, the energy pulses grew stronger, rippling through the ground and air. Strange, unpredictable phenomena occurred: floating rocks, energy distortions, and temporary field collapses. Elias observed carefully. These aren't natural. Someone or something is manipulating the field deliberately. We need to identify the source and counteract it before it spreads. Liara glanced at him, her violet eyes sharp. You remain calm. Most humans would panic under this pressure. Elias smirked. Calm comes from understanding. Panic comes from fear. I prefer to rely on the first. Working together, humans and aliens traced the disturbances to a small hidden facility at the edge of Zephyra. It was old, ancient even, yet powered with sophisticated technology. Someone had attempted to disrupt the city's energy network, but their methods were clumsy compared to Elias's quick analysis. Leave it to me, Elias said. Using a combination of human engineering and alien interface knowledge, he stabilized the facility's output, neutralizing the spikes. Liara watched, impressed, as he coordinated precise adjustments in real time. Once the crisis was averted, Liara finally spoke, her voice quiet but warm. You humans, you are unlike any I imagined. Not just brave, but clever, patient, and perceptive. Elias smiled. We do our best. And sometimes we surprise even ourselves. For a long moment they stood in silence, the northern winds of Zephyra brushing gently against them. Then Liara said softly, almost teasingly, Sweetie, you are remarkable. Elias's heart lifted. Thank you, darling. That means a lot. It was a simple exchange, but it carried a weight neither of them could ignore. Humans and aliens, strangers yet allies, had faced their first challenge together. And though much remained uncertain, one truth had already become clear: trust, courage, and understanding were the bridges that could unite their worlds. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the city glowed in a calm, steady light. Elias looked at Liara and realized that this was only the beginning, not just of their friendship, but of the story of humans and Zephyra, a tale of cooperation, courage, and unexpected bonds. The morning on Zephyra began with a quiet hum that seemed to vibrate through the crystal towers. From the human quarters, Captain Elias Hart observed the city with a careful eye. The previous day's challenge had proven the human's abilities, and the bond between him and Princess Liara had grown subtly stronger. Yet beneath the calm surface an unease lingered. Lieutenant Meera Singh approached, her expression serious. Captain, the northern energy nodes are stable now, but sensors show unusual activity along the outer borders of Zephyra. Something or someone is trying to interfere again. Elias frowned. Then it's not just a technical issue. This is intentional. And if it's intentional, we need to find out who or what is behind it, and fast. He moved to the command console, running scans and analyzing the energy patterns. What he found was alarming. The interference came in waves originating from outside Zephyra's territorial limits. It wasn't random, it was coordinated, precise, and powerful. Whoever was responsible had advanced technology, capable of manipulating energy fields with ease. Liara arrived shortly afterward, her violet eyes sharp and focused. "I was afraid of this," she said quietly. "The neighboring planet, Zorathia, has long been wary of our advances. They see Zephyra's cooperation with outsiders as a threat. They may have sent agents to destabilize us." Elias nodded. "Then we deal with it head on. Humans have faced threats before, though none exactly like this. The key is to stay calm, analyze and act before they can cause real damage." Liara studied him for a long moment. "You're calm. It is unusual for a human. Most of your species would panic," Elias smirked lightly. "Calm comes from understanding. Panic comes from fear. I prefer to rely on the first." Together they assembled a joint team of humans and Zephyrans. Engineers, strategists, and security specialists worked side by side, blending human ingenuity with alien precision. The northern borders were patrolled, energy nodes reinforced, and data flowing in real time to the palace command center. As the day progressed, the threat became clearer. Small Zorathian drones had infiltrated Zephyra's outer sectors, attempting to disrupt critical energy points. They were fast, agile, and equipped with technology that seemed to anticipate conventional defenses. But Elias had a human advantage: unpredictability. "Let me handle this," he told Liara. "I can think like they won't expect." Sometimes strategy isn't about matching strength. It's about seeing patterns differently. Liara nodded, trusting him. "Do not underestimate them. They are skilled and dangerous." Elias smiled faintly. "Neither do I. That's why we work together." He led a small team in a hovercraft toward the northern sector, weaving between energy currents and glowing forests. The Zorathian drones were waiting, attempting to disable nodes, but Elias anticipated their movements. Using clever maneuvers and improvised tactics, the humans managed to disable several drones without direct confrontation. The aliens watched in awe. Meanwhile, Liara coordinated from the command center, guiding reinforcements, stabilizing energy fields, and providing critical information. Her efficiency and calm authority impressed the human crew. Elias realized that while humans relied on adaptability and intuition, Zephyrans excelled in precision and foresight. Together, they formed a balance neither species could achieve alone. As the drones regrouped, a larger threat appeared: a massive Zorathian energy cannon, capable of sending destructive waves across the city. Liara's eyes widened. If that weapon reaches the main energy network, Zephyra could collapse entirely. Elias studied the map. "Then we stop it at the source. Humans and aliens working together, we can neutralize it before it fires." A daring plan took shape. Elias would lead a strike team directly to the cannon, while Liara coordinated from the city, stabilizing energy nodes and maintaining defenses. Communication flowed seamlessly, humans and aliens understanding each other despite different languages and thinking patterns. The journey to the cannon was perilous. Energy surges rocked the landscape and drones attacked relentlessly. Yet Elias remained calm, guiding his team with precision. "Trust your instincts and mine. Stay focused. We're close." Finally, they reached the cannon. Its metallic surface glowed ominously, pulsing with unstable energy. Elias examined it quickly. "The core is unstable. If we shut it down incorrectly, it could explode." Liara's voice came through the communicator. "Elias, you must stabilize the energy interface while avoiding a chain reaction. I will guide you through the sequence. You are humanity's best hope, and mine too." Elias smiled faintly, a mix of adrenaline and determination. "Understood, Princess. Let's do this." Working together, Elias and Liara synchronized human intuition with alien precision. Every move was calculated, every command deliberate. The energy cannon pulsed dangerously, but slowly the surges stabilized. Lights on the cannon dimmed, and finally the threat was neutralized. The northern sector was safe. The Zorathian drones retreated, realizing their mission had failed. Zephyra's energy network remained intact. Back in the palace, Liara and Elias met, both breathing heavily from the intensity of the mission. She studied him with admiration. "You humans, you are more than I imagined. Brave, clever, and persistent. Elias smiled, lowering his gaze briefly.
Thank you, Liara, but I couldn't have done it without your guidance.
Humans may act boldly, but even we need wisdom. For a moment, the tension between them dissolved into quiet understanding. Liara's violet eyes softened, and she spoke quietly, almost playfully. Sweetie, I owe you more than I can say. Elias felt a warmth in his chest. Darling, I'll always have your back. That evening, the city celebrated. Humans and Xiferans shared stories, exchanged knowledge, and marveled at what cooperation could achieve. For Elias, the celebration was not just about victory. It was about the trust that had formed between two very different worlds. Yet, even as joy filled the city, both Elias and Liara knew the danger was not fully gone. Scifi had powerful technology and ambition. They would likely return, stronger and more determined. But for the first time, Scifi had proven that humans were not just visitors, they were allies, capable of courage, creativity, and loyalty beyond what anyone had expected. As night fell, Elias and Liara stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the glowing city. The stars above reflected in their eyes, and for a brief moment the world felt at peace. Liara spoke softly, almost to herself. Sweetie, today, you saved more than our city. You proved that humans can be trusted. Elias smiled, stepping closer. Darling, we proved it together. And tomorrow we face whatever comes next, side by side. In that quiet moment, the bond between human and alien deepened. It was no longer just about diplomacy or curiosity. It was about trust, understanding, and the courage to face the unknown together. The galaxy was vast, full of threats and mysteries. But for Xiferra, humanity had become a beacon of hope. And for Elias and Liara, a new chapter of friendship and perhaps something more had begun. The challenge had been met, but the adventure was far from over. The morning light spilled over Xiferra like liquid silver, reflecting off the crystal towers and casting rainbow hues across the streets. The city was quiet, but beneath the calm tension hummed in the air. The failed Zorathian strike had shown the humans and Xiferans that threats could come suddenly, but it also highlighted their strengths. Elias Hart and Princess Liara knew that the next challenge would require full cooperation between their species. In the palace council chamber, Liara addressed the assembled humans and Xiferan leaders. Zorathia will not stop at small attacks, she said, her voice steady yet urgent. Their ambition is clear. We must unite completely, humans and Xiferans alike, to defend our world and preserve peace. Elias nodded, stepping forward. We've faced threats before, but this time the stakes are higher. Humans may be unpredictable, but we adapt quickly. Together, with your knowledge and precision, I believe we can protect Xiferra and show that cooperation can succeed where conflict fails. The council murmured among themselves. Some Xiferans still doubted humans, but Elias's calm, confident presence was persuasive. Liara's gaze met his, a silent acknowledgement of trust forming between them. Soon, the city began preparing for what they knew might be a large-scale assault. Defensive energy fields were strengthened, strategic points were reinforced, and humans were assigned alongside Xiferan specialists to oversee crucial nodes. Elias and Liara moved as one, coordinating actions with precision and flexibility. Their first test came swiftly. Zorathian ships appeared on the horizon, larger than expected, their weapons radiating destructive energy. Drones swarmed the outskirts, aiming to disrupt the city's energy network. The humans and Xiferans responded immediately, working in tandem. Sweetie, Elias said over the comlink to Liara, we need to split teams. I'll handle the drones near the northern gates. You stabilize the main network. Yes, darling, Liara replied, her voice calm yet filled with determination. Their playful words belied the seriousness of the mission, but they carried a quiet reassurance to both sides. The northern gates became a whirlwind of activity. Elias led a team of human engineers and Xiferan pilots using human ingenuity and alien technology to intercept drones. Drones darted and swerved unpredictably, but Elias anticipated their movements, giving orders that combined instinct with strategy. Xiferans marveled at his creativity, while humans learned to adjust to the aliens' precise energy manipulation. Meanwhile, Liara worked from the command center, guiding teams to stabilize energy nodes. Every decision had to be exact, A single misstep could cascade into a catastrophic failure, yet Elias noticed that her calm authority inspired everyone under her command. Humans and Zifferans alike followed her instructions without hesitation, trusting her judgment completely. Hours passed, but the attack did not relent. Larger Zorathian ships joined the assault, attempting to breach the city's defenses. Elias and Liara realized that conventional tactics alone would not be enough. They needed a coordinated strike, one that combined human intuition with Zifferan precision. "Sweetie," Elias said as he observed the battlefield, "we have an idea. We combine our forces. Humans create unpredictable maneuvers to distract, while Zifferans use controlled energy bursts to neutralize the main weapons." Liara's violet eyes glimmered with approval. "Yes, darling. Let us show them the strength of unity." The plan was executed with meticulous timing. Humans darted unpredictably through the battlefield, drawing Zorathian attention. Their movements were unorthodox but highly effective, disrupting the enemy's coordination. Simultaneously, Zifferan specialists concentrated energy bursts on the enemy ships, neutralizing weapons and disabling propulsion systems. Elias moved through the chaos with calm determination, guiding both species, issuing orders and solving problems in real time. Every challenge was met with creativity and courage. He marveled at the precision of Zifferan execution, realizing that humans and aliens complemented each other perfectly. At the height of the battle, a massive Zorathian warship approached the city's main energy core. Liara's eyes widened. "If it reaches the core, our entire city could collapse." Elias glanced at her. "Then we intercept it. Humans take the lead, Zifferans support. Follow my directions exactly." The mission was dangerous. Energy surges threatened to destabilize the city, and enemy fire was relentless. Elias led a team directly toward the warship, using the unpredictable human tactics to confuse the enemy. Liara coordinated support, stabilizing the energy fields and guiding reinforcements. Together, their synchronized efforts turned the tide. Finally, the warship was neutralized, its weapons offline. The remaining Zorathian forces retreated defeated. Cheers erupted across the city as humans and Zifferans realized the full potential of their cooperation. In the aftermath, Elias and Liara met atop a palace balcony, overlooking the glowing city. "We did it," Elias said, breathing heavily but smiling. Liara nodded, her violet eyes softening. "Yes, sweetie. Today we showed that humans and Zifferans together can overcome anything." Elias chuckled. "And we proved that a little boldness, a little unpredictability, and a lot of trust go a long way." For the first time, both realized that their bond, playful words, shared trust, and mutual respect had become a symbol of unity, not just for themselves but for two worlds. As night fell, the city glowed peacefully. The humans were celebrated, and the Zifferans welcomed them not as strangers but as allies. The victory was more than military. It was a demonstration that courage, ingenuity, and trust could bridge worlds. Liara and Elias shared a quiet moment, looking at the stars above Zifera. "Darling," Liara whispered, "I think this is only the beginning." Elias smiled. "Yes, sweetie, and whatever comes next, we face it together." The morning sun rose over a city transformed. Zifera, once wary and cautious, now bustled with a renewed energy. Humans were no longer outsiders, they were allies, respected and trusted. Captain Elias Hart walked through the streets with Lieutenant Singh and several Zifferan guides. The citizens greeted them warmly, their curiosity now mingled with admiration. Elias marveled at how the city had responded to the recent crisis. Energy nodes glowed steadily. The northern gates were reinforced, and Zorathian attacks had left the people united rather than fearful. Zifera's citizens moved with purpose, confident in their security, yet open to the humans who had proven themselves indispensable. Princess Liara appeared beside him, her violet eyes reflecting pride. "The city thrives because of unity," she said softly. "Humans and Zifferans working together. It is more powerful than any weapon." Elias glanced at her. "And it proves that courage, intelligence, and trust matter more than technology or titles. We complement each other perfectly." Liara smiled faintly. "Yes, sweetie. You have changed perceptions, not just of humans, but of possibility." Their first task that day was simple but symbolic. Elias and Liara led a ceremonial walk through the city, visiting energy nodes, schools, and community centers where humans and Xiferans worked side by side. Children, both human and alien, looked on in awe, seeing their leaders united and smiling. The bond between the species was tangible, a living testament to what cooperation could achieve. Later in the palace gardens, Elias and Liara found a quiet moment alone. The floating flora glowed softly in the afternoon sun, casting patterns across their faces. "Darling," Elias said, his voice gentle. "We faced danger, uncertainty, and a skilled enemy, and yet here we are." Liara looked at him, her expression softening. "Sweetie, I never imagined that humans could be so capable, brave, clever, and reliable. Today proved that unity is not just an idea, it is a reality." Elias smiled. "And it is a reality because of you. Your leadership, your guidance. Without you, none of this would be possible." Liara blushed faintly, the softest hue touching her violet skin. "Yes, darling. And your boldness, your calm under pressure, and your willingness to trust even when things were uncertain. It has changed me. Changed Zephyra." They walked in silence for a moment, watching the city thrive below them. Energy flowed evenly through the network. Citizens moved with purpose, and humans were no longer guests. They were partners. Elias broke the quiet. "Sweetie, what comes next?" "Zerathia will not give up easily. There will be new challenges." Liara's gaze was firm yet serene. "Then we face them together, darling. Humans and Zephyrians. We have proven that courage and cooperation can overcome fear and division." A message arrived from the human ship Odyssey, confirming that Earth had received reports of Zephyra's stability and the successful cooperation between the species. Leaders on Earth were impressed, and plans were underway to expand diplomatic missions. Elias and Liara shared a subtle glance, hopeful, confident, and quietly excited about the future. As evening fell, the palace lit up with celebrations. Music, light displays, and laughter filled the air. Humans and Zephyrians mingled freely, sharing stories and experiences. Elias found himself at Liara's side, both smiling as they watched the joy of unity unfold. Finally, as the festivities quieted, Liara turned to Elias. "Sweetie, you are more than a visitor. You are a friend, an ally, perhaps something more." Elias's heart lifted. "Darling, and you are more than a leader. You are wise, compassionate, and remarkable. Together we can face anything." They stood side by side, looking at the stars above Zephyra. The Galaxy S,